So this is gonna probably be my last video. I'm gonna go turn myself in.
Big U is at last confessing. And he's revealing some significant information about the killing of Nippy. Big U has been at the center of controversy ever since Nipsey Hussle's passing. And the accusations have persisted on social media and in the streets.
Nipsey Hussle killed. Everybody know that.
Charleston White said it, SKG said it.
Even insiders like Loose Cannon asserted that Big U had prior knowledge of Nippy's passing. And now, as the commotion was beginning to subside, Big U revealed information that would fundamentally alter the plot. Let's get started. The disagreement between Big U and Hermes, a Nipsey hustler, South Los Angeles-based rapper and businessman Joseph Asketum, rose to fame with mixtapes like The Marathon and his Grammy-nominated album, Victory Lap, Beyond Music. Nippy was well known for his business endeavors and volunteer services in the city, especially his apparel store at Crenshaw and Slauson, Eugene. Big U, as a well-known member of the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips, Henley has a very different background. In his interview with DJ Vlad Big U, he talked about his upbringing and connection to the streets. Big U served 13 years in prison from 1991 to 2004 and stated that he focused on community activism and violence intervention programs after his release. Big U and Nippy's connection began well in 2008. According to All Hip Hop, Big U took on a mentoring role in Nipsey's early career, assisting him in developing his All Money and brand and broadening his audience. Big U was about 40 years old when he went on tours with Nippy, including the LAX tour with Game and Kendrick Lamar and K-Dot. According to interviews, Nippy was 18 or 19. Big U mentioned that he thought Nippy's style and hustle were unique, and Nippy showed his appreciation by shouting out Big U and his music. However, their relationship took a drastic turn in 2011, when the issues reportedly began over a disagreement over equipment at Big U's shop. What may have been a small argument turned into a major altercation, as reports claim Big U assaulted Nippy, his brother Black Sam, and their father. The situation worsened, leading to a shootout between Nippy's brother and the LAPD. According to a Reddit post, gang politics, not disagreements about money or music, were the cause of the brawl. In a documentary series, Nippy recorded a diss track directed at Big U because of their severe falling out. Big U claimed to have tried to reprimand Nippy for the song, but Nippy's brother intervened to stop more problems. It's interesting to note that after roughly 5 years of conflict, reports indicate that Big U and Nippy got back together in late 2016. They even reportedly worked together again, with Big U acting as Nippy's road manager for the Victory Lap promotional tour in 2018. This newfound collaboration lasted until Nip passed away in 2019. This pattern of conflict and reconciliation begs some questions. Some have questioned if the seeming reunion could have given festering grudges the chance to turn into something worse by the end of 2016, as Nippy's road manager during the Victory Lap tour. Big U would have been aware of Nippy's whereabouts and security arrangements and would have been one of the few people Nippy trusted, which some claim could have been exploited despite these theories. Nip's career was on a major upswing, and his Victory Lap album would soon earn him a Grammy nomination and solidify his place in hip-hop. It is significant to note that Eric R. Holder Jr. was found guilty of Nipsey's murder in 2022 and given a sentence of 60 years to life in prison in 2023. The official conclusion is that Holder acted alone, motivated by a personal dispute with Nippy. In a 2021 Drink Champs interview, Holder denied rumors that he was involved in the murder, stating that they had no ongoing beef and continued to communicate. He also expressed annoyance at people using Nippy's death to garner attention. But recent events brought the case to light again on March 28, 2025. Adam 22 of the No Jumper podcast disclosed that federal agents had paid him a visit in relation to Big U's case. According to reports, the agents were seeking a cease and desist letter that Big U had sent following an episode of No Jumper in which rapper Loose Cannon claimed Big U had prior knowledge of Nipsey's murder. This is especially noteworthy in light of Big U's arrest in March 2025 on federal RICO charges, which primarily involve accusations of fraud, extortion, tax evasion, and the 2021 move. The federal interest in the cease and desist letter raises the possibility that investigators are examining Big U's response to the accusations. If the claims were untrue, why would he be so keen to silence them? Or was he merely protecting his reputation from unfounded accusations that would worsen the situation? Additionally, 19 Rollin' 60s Crips members were indicted in March 2025 on charges that Big U operated a mafia-like business. However, the indictment does not explicitly link Big U to Nippy's murder. The relationship between Big U and Nippy was obviously complicated, beginning as a mentorship and progressing through conflict, parent violence, reconciliation, and now a posthumous controversy. It is unclear to the hip-hop community whether their final reconciliation was sincere. And to make matters more complicated, former Death Row Records rapper SKG has reportedly publicly accused Big U of being involved in Nipsey's murder. This assertion adds a completely new level of tension to this already tight circumstance. Let's get started. SKG's charges against Big U during the time that Eric Holder was found guilty of killing Nipsey Hussle. Another voice has surfaced, making grave charges against Big U. Halisha Choice, also known as SKG or Suge Knight Girl, has directly accused Big U of being responsible for Nippy's death. To understand her claims, we must first examine SKG's background with both Nippy and Big U. She is a former Death Row Records rapper who is connected to Suge Knight, which is why she went by SKG. Her most vocal accusations against Big U gained a lot of attention after his arrest on RICO charges in March 2025. The timing of her accusations has caused some to wonder if she is taking advantage of Big U's legal issues or if his arrest finally gave her the confidence to speak up. In a December 2023 interview with Tasha K, Cage claimed that Nipsey Hussle had set her up to be physically abused by Big U while she was pregnant.
Well, you know, he jumped on me. He lured me over to Nipsey Hussle's shop. He jumped on me while I was pregnant, beat me up, made me go to another part of the neighborhood. I got jumped by 3 girls. I still have a scar on my back from that incident.
She claims that this attack occurred after Big U felt humiliated at a meeting with KDA, a radio station in Los Angeles. In a more recent interview on No Jumper SKG, she went into great detail about the incident, explaining that she was employed at the KDA radio station and that Big U and Nipsey Hussle were the first people she introduced to her professional network.
Like, oh, well, I have a little homeboy and he's starting to rap and he's doing music. I want to plug him over here because I'm at the radio station. Oh, Big U is over here. Let me bring him over here because I'm at the radio station. I'm already in position, right? It was never it wasn't valuable for me to work with him to where I benefited because I was already SKG.
SKG claims that following a commercial dispute with Big U over a community initiative called Nipsey, phoned her a few weeks later to request the advertising posters she had made for him. She said she was ambushed when she visited Nippy's store.
Him and Fats, they're out at the counter. I walk up, I'm talking to him, and I just hear the click, click. And it was like I knew that was that. I just knew. It's like it's a setup.
Oh, wow. Click, click, like somebody had a gun drawn on you?
No, click, click. They closed the door.
Oh,
click,
they
click.
locked it. Okay.
So they closed it, and then it was a thing where you can lock it. And I just heard the click, click.
This accusation is not brand new. SKG has reportedly been telling this story for years, alleging that Big U set up an ambush and beating for her with the help of Nipsey and his friend Stephen Fats Donaldson. The fact that she has consistently upheld this account lends it some credibility. But it's interesting to wonder why these grave accusations at the time didn't result in legal action. According to SKG, she and Nippy ultimately made amends years after their violent past, threatening him that something's going to happen to you if you don't move from over here during their reconciliation meeting. Because they don't respect. USKG said in response to Nippy's question on why she would say that. On April 1st, 2025, she talked about this on the No Jumper podcast, implying that, despite their troubled past, she had seen threats to Nippy's safety before his death. SKG has stated that she was devastated to hear of Nippy's passing in 2019, demonstrating that despite their previous problems following Big U's imprisonment in March 2025, she still had an emotional bond with him. In an interview with TMZ on March 21, 2025, SKG became more direct in her accusations, saying that Big U was definitely involved in Nippy's murder. She also called for justice for Nippy and expressed hope that Big U would be linked to the murder. Even though law enforcement hasn't confirmed any such link as of May 1, 2025, SKG's accusations directly challenged the official story of Nippy's death while Eric Holder was found guilty of the shooting. When asked why she's so certain about Big U's involvement, she implied that there was a larger conspiracy, with Holder merely being the one who pulled the trigger for someone else. While some people are skeptical of SKG's most vocal accusations, following Big U's arrest on other charges, her supporters point to how consistent her story has been over the years. While critics point out the convenient timing and lack of hard evidence beyond her personal account, it's important to note that SKG mentioned Nippy denied setting her up for the assault during their reconciliation, suggesting a more nuanced situation. SKG has hinted at insider knowledge, saying the public would be shocked when details come out. She cites jealousy as the primary motivation, implying that the public would be shocked when details are revealed. Perhaps Nippy wasn't directly at fault, but was caught up in a complex power dynamic. If this is the case, it could explain why she felt genuine sadness at his death, despite their troubled past. SKG's accusations go beyond Nip's murder to paint a larger picture of Big U as a threatening figure in the Crenshaw community. In multiple interviews, she has claimed that Big U terrorized her and others for years, claiming he used violence to maintain control and extorted local businesses. She also stated that she feels safer since his arrest, implying that she has been afraid to speak out for a long time. When we consider possible reasons why Big U targeted Nippy, a few possibilities arise. First, there's the issue of financial control. Did Nip become less reliant on former mentors as his career and business grew? Conflicts in the music industry have historically arisen when musicians attempt to reject dominating influences, followed by community impact. For someone accustomed to keeping control via terror, Nippy was not only generating money, but also becoming a symbol of positive change in his community. In other ways, however, true communal respect would have been frightening. Last but not least, even if they seem to have reconciled by 2016, profound grudges don't often go away entirely. The violent nature of their first falling out raises the prospect of sentiments that are difficult to settle. Big U has not been officially linked by law enforcement to Nippy's death, and it's crucial to keep in mind the presumption of innocence. Eric Holder is still found guilty of killing Big U, and no charges have been brought against him. It is unclear from his interview if SKG's allegations will ever result in more research. Big U discussed his growth following his release from prison and is wont to alter his reputation.
I want to balance. I don't want to be remembered for being this negative force. You know what I mean? I don't want to live my life and the only thing you can remember about Big U was he was this, he was that, he was this, he was that. You know what I mean?
Some detractors have questioned SKG's personal intentions and her ties to Suge Knight. A contentious individual with a history of claimed violence in the music business has sparked concerns about possible biases. Some wonder whether her charges are more about making amends than they are about pursuing justice. Hip-hop, loyalty, betrayal, mentorship dynamics, and the intricate power structures that frequently function behind the scenes are reflected in this situation. These patterns have impacted many lives in an industry that occasionally blurs the boundaries between dangerous criminal connections and street credibility. Regardless of how true these accusations are, there is no doubt that Nipsey Hussle's passing left a huge hole in hip-hop that extends far beyond music. His murder silenced a voice for economic empowerment, took away a community leader, and devastated fans who looked up to him as a different kind of success. One that involved giving back to his community rather than abandoning it. Nip's passing was a tragic loss. It was a moment that shook the entire hip-hop community. It made people take a step back and really think about what he represented both in music and beyond. Matter of fact, let's look at how Nipsey Hussle's death impacted the hip-hop industry as a whole. It was a big loss for all of hip-hop. When Nipsey Hussle was killed on March 31st, 2019, his death had ripple effects throughout hip-hop that continue to this day. The most immediate impact was a huge surge in his music's popularity as fans, both old and new, connected with his work in the weeks after his murder. His album Victory Lap reached a new peak of number 2 on the Billboard 200, an achievement he never got to see. His single Racks in the Middle featuring Roddy Ricch and Hit Boy climbed to number 26 on the Hot 100 and won Best Rap Performance at the 2020 Grammy Awards. While it's common for artists to see increased attention after death, the response to Nip's passing went beyond typical posthumous interest. Major artists across hip-hop created tributes that showed just how widely his influence had spread. Kendrick Lamar's 2022 song The Heart Part 5 effectively illustrated this effect. Kendrick attempted to allow Nippy's voice to continue to be heard at Nippy's funeral ceremony by using deepfake technology to transform into Nip's image while rapping from his point of view. This wasn't simply a typical tribute. In a letter, Kendrick recalled their early touring days together and disclosed a bond that dated back to their early professional lives. Other musicians, such as Big Sean, Snoop Dogg, and Nippy Blue DJ Killed, performed at the 2020 Grammy Awards, and Deep Reverence produced musical tributes. Legendary Meek Mill and John Beyond Only Music. Roddy Ricch and YG are paying tribute to Nipsey. In one of the most important outcomes, Nip's passing had a genuine effect on his neighborhood. One of the most potent aspects of Nippy's legacy is the fact that gang leaders used his murder as a catalyst for peace, resulting in ceasefires between rival gangs in Compton and Los Angeles. These ceasefires reportedly involved hundreds of people and were compared to similar peace efforts following the 1992 LA riots. Someone from gang culture had turned into such a beneficial influence that, even in death, he encouraged old adversaries to put aside their long-standing disputes. In keeping with his community-based business strategy, Nippy's Marathon Clothing store remained open after his passing, and in September 2019, the M store opened on Crenshaw Boulevard. Puma also launched a marathon clothing collection, with the proceeds going to the local Nip Foundation, guaranteeing that his community work could go on. Many hip-hop artists have been encouraged by this business strategy to reevaluate their financial decisions rather than only promoting already existing brands or starting vanity labels. Los Angeles itself was transformed to honor Nippy's memory within months of his passing, with over 50 murals dedicated to him appearing all over the city. The intersection of Slauson Avenue and Crenshaw Boulevard was renamed Ernest Nipsey Hussle as Dome Square, permanently marking the corner he had worked to transform, further acknowledging his impact. Other artists have also adopted Nippy's model of creating businesses that directly employ and serve their communities. In August 2022, Nippy received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and the Hyde Park station on the K-Line was dedicated to him. These official honors demonstrate how Nippy evolved from a successful musician to a civic icon whose contributions merited ongoing recognition even as his intellectual side left an impression. Inspired by Nip's reading list, local branches of the Marathon Book Club were established to provide forums for community people to discuss the same concepts that influenced his thinking. This aspect of his legacy is especially significant as it promotes both economic empowerment and intellectual development, the two main components of Nipsey's community transformation vision. Additionally, his story has been preserved through a variety of media, For example, All American and a Netflix documentary co-produced by Ava DuVernay mentioned him, guaranteeing that future generations would learn about his philosophy and impact. His influence went beyond music into sports. As NBA player Russell Westbrook dedicated a 2020 game to Nippy's memory on April 2, 2019. This cross-cultural influence demonstrates how Keem's message resonated with prosperous black men in other industries, who saw in him a guy who had maintained ties to his neighborhood. In spite of attaining success for himself, perhaps most significantly, Nippy's passing prompted hip-hop artists to reflect on gang culture, violence, and their obligations to their communities. Following his murder, discussions in the industry changed noticeably, with more prominent voices raising the question of whether authenticity requires continuing street connections. Nip's influence is distinct since it transcends the customary commemoration of departed musicians rather than only being known for his songs. Nippy is praised for creating a novel strategy for success that did not necessitate deciding between surviving and being involved in your community. The original phrase, "The marathon continues." There is a sad irony that Nip's death may have spread his message more widely than he could have while he was alive, because his murder brought to light the very contradictions he was trying to resolve about how to remain present in your community while navigating the dangers that exist in neighborhoods like South Central LA. Nippy's brand slogan has evolved into something deeper, a philosophy for community development led by people who understand the community's needs because they've lived them. This approach differs greatly from development models that frequently force out original residents. This increased reach has an incalculable price, as the official investigation came to an end with Eric Holder's conviction. Questions remain about whether Holder acted alone or as part of something larger. The accusations made against Big U by individuals like SKG reflect broader skepticism about official explanations. We can only speculate as to what else Nippy might have accomplished, the businesses he would have built, the artists he would have mentored, and the community changes he would have led. His death at 33 represents not only the loss of a talented dead musician, but also the cutting short of a visionary's potential to change the conceived relationship between success and community in hip-hop. Skepticism stemming from observing how power frequently operates behind the scenes. Regardless of whether these accusations result in additional legal action, serves as a reminder of the intricate and occasionally perilous realm in which artists, such as Nippy, must walk the tightrope between street credibility and true community building, with forces on both sides of the law potentially threatened by those who seek to transform rather than flee or take advantage of their communities. In the end, Nipsey Hussle's greatest contribution to hip-hop may have been the way he broadened its scope, demonstrating that an artist could win praise from critics, launch prosperous businesses, and inspire his community all at once. He also rejected the notion that one must choose between financial success and community loyalty, instead establishing a model where both benefit from one another. The blue wave on social media following his passing, with innumerable profile pictures altered to Nip's signature color, symbolized more than just mourning. It demonstrated alignment with a philosophy that views personal achievement as significant only when it opens doors for others. As we take into account the complicated relationship between Nipsey Big U and the circumstances surrounding Nippy's death, perhaps we should acknowledge that some questions may never be fully answered. This viewpoint has influenced a new generation of hip-hop artists who increasingly measure their impact not just in sales and streams, but also in jobs created and communities improved. What is still evident, though, is that throughout his brief existence, Nipsey Hussle altered hip-hop's perception of what an artist can and ought to be. That's it. If you liked this video, please view the others immediately. Till next time.